Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some wisdom to start your day. And I'm giggling because that little weird box just popped in again. It's almost like a second image of the same thing, but it's delayed a little bit, which for those of us who are ADD drives me nuts. But whatever. Welcome to the technological world. Good morning, Diane. Glad you're here. So, this was interesting. So, good morning, Cindy. I'm muscle testing to see which deck today, and none of my regular decks tested strong. So I asked about a book, and it wasn't that, and I'm like, ain't that interesting? And I glanced over at the shelf where I keep my card decks, and happened to look at the shelf below the shelf with my card decks, and there's two decks down there that are partial decks. Someone else used them and gave some of them away at events, etc. So they're partial decks, but she gave them to me because she thought I might want them. So it's actually the same deck that I have, the Nature Portals deck by Bruce and Carol Malner. But for whatever reason, I was meant to use her deck instead of my deck. And the card that popped up, very pretty card. And it says, trust your intuition. So, got some fun things to say about that. So I'd like you to just take a nice deep cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just settling in to listen to these words, paying attention to what grabs you, what connects with you, out of your head into your heart, and see what you're meant to carry with you for the day. Trust your intuition. Intuition is called by many different names. Your sixth sense, a hunch, a gut feeling, the still small voice within. No matter which term you use, intuition is your ability to understand something immediately without rational thinking. So again, you're stepping away from that 5% of your consciousness and you're tapping into that powerhouse that most of us don't listen to all that well. Although intuition is a natural process, it takes practice to tune in to intuition's subtle cues. The calm stillness found in nature can help you quiet your rational mind so that you may access your intuition more easily. Remember, you know more than you think you do. Oh, that sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? The quote is by Albert Einstein, whom I'm coming to appreciate as a much more nuanced and in-depth person than I had previously given him credit for. I thought he was just a brilliant mind. Nope, he had all kinds of heart and soul things that he talked about. There's a video that I've seen several times where there's a woman reading a letter that he wrote to his daughter Liesel, and it's talking about love, and it's just a really powerful letter. You might be able to even in Facebook or in Google for that and see if you can find it. I'll see if I can find it too and put the link in our feed. But this is a quote by Albert Einstein. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And that reminds me of a session I had with a client yesterday where she's being appointed to a new position, and they're doing some screening and testing, and the group that actually is overseeing all of this gave her some feedback that was really powerful and helpful for her in terms of understanding how she does things through intuition, and how many of the others who are in positions of authority in this organization operate from more of that rational mind. And I remarked to her that it seems as though those of us who are more of the intuitive mind really can appreciate what the rational mind can do, but it seems like it's harder for those who are based in the rational mind to appreciate what the intuitive mind can do. Imagine the power and the wisdom and the possibilities in someone who has figured out how to honor both. And like that quote, if the intuitive mind is the gift and the rational mind is in service of that gift, knowing how to use both, knowing how to access both, wow, that's really powerful. The key that comes from the card is the idea that the calm stillness can be found in nature. So you go into nature, you quiet that rational mind, and you allow the intuitive mind to whisper to you. So, where do you find greatest access to your intuitive mind? Nature for me, yes, but also when I'm being creative. So if I'm sitting here making cards, or if I'm, doing something creative, working in one of my mandala books, whatever, it's almost like it helps get my rational mind offline so that my intuitive mind can take over and do what it does best. Then I can bring the rational mind on board again to help create. It's kind of like there's a book called Traction, and it's about business. It's written by Gino Wickman, and he talks about there being visionaries, people who have big pictures, and visionaries start companies. And a hugely important step at that juncture is they must hire an integrator person, someone who can take that vision and turn it into action steps and hiring practices and all that kind of stuff to put it into effect, to make things happen. So think about it this way. Your intuitive mind is your visionary, and your rational mind is that integrator, that one that pulls it all together, that makes out the action steps, that figures out what are we going to do next. You have both. You have access to both. And again, you know you the best. So which one needs a little more focus? Do you need to focus a little more on taking that visionary part, the intuition part, and turning it into action steps? So then you want to focus more on that integrator rational mind part. Or do you need the opposite? Are you too bogged down in the rational mind part, but don't have the grist for the mill that comes from that intuitive mind? You know you the best. You know what you need. Spend some time with that. So if it's that intuitive part, go out in nature. Go out and do something creative. Get your rational mind offline so that you can think big, create big, allow the flow, etc. And if it's more about you have all these big dreams, but you haven't put anything into action yet, then focus on, maybe it's writing the big dream on the top of the page and then taking the conscious effort to shift into your rational mind. Okay, what all steps would be required to bring this to fruition? What all needs to happen? And just kind of throw up on the page. There's this cool little thing, rather than which I think helps tap creative mind more. Instead of just listing things, steps to accomplish, blah, 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 make it more like a flow chart kind of a thing. So in the middle, you write the goal in a circle. Then you put some lines out from that. Yeah, but I'll need this, and I'll need this, and then you put more lines out from that. And pretty soon you have this big diagram of all the things that need to happen to get you to this thing that you wrote in the center. Okay? So that is your mission today. Practice trusting your intuition. Practice tapping your intuition. Whether that's putting yourself into nature, whether it's doing something creative, whether it's sitting and just being for a while. That's your mission for today. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What grabbed you? What made sense? What you have more questions about? And have an awesome day. All right? We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye.